Alright guys, and welcome to another video. Today we're going to be talking about how to gear up your boosted character extremely fast in the pre-patch. And today we're going to be looking at casters, so this includes Mage, Warlocks, Priest, Boomkins and the Elemental Shaman. Now this is mainly for people who are boosting a character on current realms, not fresh realms. However, I've got a little section at the end that's more tailored for people who are playing on fresh servers. But nonetheless, if you level up fast enough, then everything in this video is relevant to people who will play on fresh servers. First thing to remember guys is that healer gear will become caster gear, because healing power doesn't exist anymore, it's just raw spell power, not even specific spell school spell power like shadow power. Now if you did a shot for every time I said the word power in that sentence, you will pass out. So getting healer gear like blood leggings will now give 41 spell power and 18 MP5. That's a great item for leveling, and it's quite cheap as well if you don't want to spend all the gold on spell strike pants. And guys, when it comes to spending gold on gear, I think your gold is best spent, you're going to get more bang for your buck just buying crafted gear or BOE gear rather than wasting your gold in GDKPs. You have to remember that you're gonna be replacing any gear that you get in TVC round about level 77. Any gear that you hope to get on a boosted character anyway. Some well gear may take a little longer to replace. So I don't really recommend going for cheap options, to be honest, unless you are really looking to min-max leveling speeds and go for realm firsts. Now my first piece of advice is PvP gear. Now I know a lot of people don't like doing PvP, they absolutely despise it, but this is the best result for the time spent. You'll be able to get Season 3 gear pieces and should be able to get the PvP weapons if the pre-patch doesn't totally replace the current PvP vendors with the Wrath of the Lich King vendors, because then the weapons won't exist anymore. But honestly, getting a full set of PvP gear and weapons is more than good enough to jump you into Northrend. You will just melt Northrend. And you've got a whole month to farm it all. Remember that Honor is dramatically buffed in the pre-patch with Wrath of the Lich King too, so Honor farming will be much faster. Another great, fast and reliable option is Dungeon Quest gear. This isn't going to be relevant though if the boosted gear is really bad like how it was in TBC Classic. If it's anything like how it is on the beta right now, then you will get heroic quality gear straight away. Fingers crossed that does happen. There are a number of great gear pieces from Dungeon Quest, and obviously you don't have to rely on RNG because it's a quest reward, and I have made a list for the best ones. I put everything on a Google Drive document. If you want access to that, all you have to do is subscribe to the channel, go to my channel page, and you will see my sub-only trailer, and in the description of that video, there is the quest list. And obviously this is a really good option for people who are playing on fresh servers who will have less time to farm gear once they are level 70. Now let's talk about crafted pieces. Sometimes they can be pricey, but if you've got the gold to spend, then do it by all means if you want to. They are pretty cheap now, like I've seen some pieces going for less than 300 gold, which is definitely much cheaper than GDKPs because bids on GDKPs normally start at about 500 gold. I'll give you some examples. We've got the Cloak of the Black Void, we've got Spell Strike Robes or Spellfire. If you want to go for that and get the Spellfire set, it's not bad to be honest, but obviously you only want to get that if you actually are going to level your tailoring in the pre-patch. And then you've got your Sunfire Robe, but that is definitely way more expensive. Then a cheap option would be your imbued Neverweave Tunic. Boots are blasting right now, fairly cheap on the auction house. You got your imbued Neverweave boots for an even cheaper option. Sunfire hand wraps, now they are very expensive and it's hard to get a good glove option to be honest, so that would be a piece I'd recommend to get from PvP. Then you got your Spell Strike hood obviously, fairly cheap, along with Spell Strike pants. Lifeblood leggings, like I mentioned earlier, are even cheaper and they've got a big wad of spell power on them in the pre-patch. Then you've got Mantle of Nimble Fort, that's a great option. Belt of Blasting, the Neverflame belt, slightly cheaper. Then you've got Braces of Nimble Fort. Then an even cheaper option than that would be Braces of Havoc, which is quite nice because you can throw a gem in that. Then if you are a shaman, you can go for the Neverstrike set because personally, if I'm going to level a shaman, I want mail gear as much as of it I can get. And you can also pick up Hurricane Boots, the Neverdrake Helmet, and Living Earth Shoulders. And to be honest guys, the tailoring sets aren't bad. If you are going to level tailoring for Wrath of the Lich King, you may as well pick up those pieces because they are dirt cheap right now. You can craft them yourself, the cooldowns get removed in Wrath of the Lich King as well. So crafting yourself a combination of Frozen Shadow Weave, Sunfire, Remember that it's not specific fire spell power anymore on Sunfire or Frost and Shadow on Frozen Shadow Weave, it's all just raw spell power, so you can combine those pieces and get a pretty decent set. Remember that 3 pieces of Spellfire also increases your spell power based on your intellect, so that is obviously quite nice to have too. Now the other option to go for after that is obviously heroic and badge gear, but if you want my honest opinion, the best time spent will probably be spent farming gold and buying crafted pieces, or doing GDKPs to get gold right now to spend on those crafted pieces, rather than farming loads and loads of heroics and farming badges. But if you don't like doing GDKPs or gold farming, then that's fair enough. The next best option is to farm heroics and to farm those badges. If you really try hard, you can get 55 badges per day, including the daily heroic quest and the Shattered Sun offensive quest. And these badges are best spent on the Badges of Justice vendor that is just to the edge of the Isle of Quel'Danas portal, since this is the one that came out in Phase 5 and has a really good gear. Also has weapons, which I definitely recommend picking up if you can. The next best option after that is the badge vendor that was released with Zul'Aman. That's just up the stairs near the Naru looking dude. Remember that badge gear can also be turned in for really good PvP gear on the Isle of Quel'Danas, so there might be some good pieces to pick up there too. By the way guys, I do also have a list of the best badge gear to get and the best crafted gear to get in the pre-patch. Again, all you have to do is subscribe to the channel and check that Google Drive document. Now the 5th one is pretty obvious, do some raids if you can, but don't be doing GDKPs like I said before. It is honestly a total waste of gold. If you spend a decent amount of gold on crafted gear, you should be able to jump into some raids and pick up some pieces if you want to, but really my advice would just be to do raids for a little bit of fun. You shouldn't really try hard care about farming gear, you should really just get good enough gear to make leveling smoother. You don't need to be farming Phase 5 Sunwell best in slot gear, you just simply don't. Remember that raids also do drop a lot of badges, which is very nice. Now I want to finish off giving some advice for people who are playing on fresh servers. Really, it's pretty obvious. You just follow the same procedure as you did in your original TBC when you were farming gear for your pre-raid best in slot sets. This will include doing the normal dungeons, maybe some heroics, and then Shadowmoon Valley and Neverstorm quests, particularly your group quests. Remember that all the raids are nerfed, so you can very easily jump into Karazhan, Gruul and Maggie, even in blue gear, maybe even Zul'Aman. I imagine a lot of people in pre-patch will get to level 70 quite fast and then have absolutely nothing else to do other than do some raids, so there will probably be some pugs going. But remember guys, I still think PvP gear is the best bang for your buck when it comes to time spent, so if I was playing a fresh server, I'd probably get to level 70. First thing I would do is farm Battlegrounds to get PvP gear and then see what I can get after that. Anyway guys, that's where I'm going to end the video there. If you're still unconvinced about subscribing to the channel, I do have the best 25 quests that you can get ready for turn-in when Wrath of the Lich King launches over there. That's sub-only content. Anyway, my name is MetaGoblin. Until my next video, ciao.